Good morning. Good morning. Woo! All right. Welcome to the 14th annual Statewide Symposium in support of service members, veterans, and their families. Woo! We have an exciting 2 days. I'm so excited. Are you excited? Oh, I'm so excited. I feel like I've been cloned. I mean, I'm beside myself. It's only going to get worse from here, folks. That's the best one. My name is Thomas Winkel, and I am the director of the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. I served as a United States Marine during Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm as a combat infantryman. I am honored to be your MC today, your master of ceremonies. That means we can have some marriages if we want. Anybody want to get married? Anybody at all? What would that look like? Oh my goodness. Woo! Okay. Goodness. Okay. Today's opening ceremony will consist of the presenting of the colors by the Honor Guard from Luke Air Force Base. The national anthem sung by Navy veteran Garland Miller for 14 years in a row. Love that guy. An invocation by Reverend Laura Adelia, Lieutenant Colonel, retired, United States Air Force. Thank you so much for coming back. Have some special instructions for folks that are right here. This is where the color guard is coming. If you'll just kind of tuck yourselves back just a little bit when they come in. Otherwise, you're going to be draped in the flags. All right. Color guard, present. Actually, would you please rise? Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, everyone. Please join in with me in blessing this momentous symposium. Almighty God, Spirit of love, you are known by many names. In the spirit of enthusiasm and hope, we give thanks for the opportunity to gather here today. We are grateful for the work you have given us to do, helping one another to create a better world. As we begin our symposium, we dedicate this time to you. Bless the presenters. Bless the attendees and volunteers who made this possible. Bless the veterans and the people, the service people and their families. And bless all who serve and have served. Bless our gathering today. Amen.
Please have a seat and enjoy.
In 2009, a small team traveled throughout Arizona and asked, "What is needed for our military and veteran population?" The resounding answer was more coordination and collaboration. That team established a vision for a collective impact initiative and launched the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. The key leaders and organizations embraced that vision and partnered to make it a reality. The collective goal was to build something not for the short term, but something that would last decades. 15 years later, this ecosystem of people, helpers, organizations, communities, and systems is beyond the wildest dreams of that original team. And it only works because of you, your colleagues, your organizations, your communities. Thank you for being part of this journey, what has come before and all that is ahead.
So to say that it has gone beyond our wildest dreams, I think is an absolute understatement beyond all, concept. There are a few of us that were here in the very beginning of this process. Can you just kind of, by show of hands, Tanya, Patrick, there's a few of us that were here. Yeah, Garland. I mean, my goodness, did we ever think? We started off with 250 folks. Debbie, my goodness. Yeah, we started off with 250 folks at our symposium. It was just put together, thrown together really, in just a couple of months. And, the coalition was just brand spanking new. And off we went. And it was just based on the needs of the community. We needed training. We needed to get together and talk to each other. We needed the VA and the community and the state entities to get together and to talk and to work together and to collaborate. So what an amazing thing to see how far we've come. So awesome. Look, in my book, and I think everyone here, you are all VIPs. And that is the truth. But I do want to just say a little recognition to a few special guests that are not on the agenda today. From the Governor's Office, Tanya Hamilton, Cabinet Executive Officer and Tribal Liaison, Tanya Hamilton. Yay. Do we have Stacy Travers? I have not seen Stacy Travers, but I just wanted to make note that she's going to be attending. Stacy, is she in here? Okay, she's not. She's going to be here a little bit later. We have representative from the offices of Senator Sinema and Kelly. Hi, Kelly Mills. Hi, Arlene. Kelly Mills, I think there's something happening on Friday. What is that? Something happening? Aren't you getting some kind of sword? Some kind of copper sword from the Arizona Veteran Hall of Fame? Something like that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It just popped into my head. Yeah. Okay. Also, representatives from Representative's Office, Siscomani, Crane, Grijalva, Lesko, and Gosser. We really appreciate you all being here. Your work is essential, so thank you. Bobby Ann Baldwin, Executive Director, Navajo Nation Veterans Administration. Thank you so much. We also welcome colleagues from other states, David Puente, Director, Washington Department of Veterans Affairs, Tim Shepard, Executive Director, Wyoming Veterans Commission, and of course, Colonel Wanda Wright, Air Force retired. So thank you very much. And Colonel Abercrombie, thank you so much for being with us today from Luke Air Force Base. Really appreciate you being here with us. Yeah, look forward to talking a little bit later as well. Okay, so title sponsors. Arizona Department of Veterans Services and the Phoenix VA Healthcare System. Really appreciate both of you. TriWest Healthcare System is our presenting sponsor this year. Our partner sponsors, Arizona Governor's Council on Spinal and Head Injuries, Molina Healthcare, thank you so much, Banner University Family Care, and all of our supporting sponsors. Finally, a special note of gratitude to the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family and their continued support of really everything that we do. Here's the important part, folks. The reason why sponsors are important is this. For many coalitions, the symposiums, the conferences that they do, it is really key to the funding of their organization. That is not necessarily the case with the coalition. The reason why supporting this is important for us is because it allows us to provide scholarships for people to be able to come here, where they wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. So that is why this is important. We thank you, each and every one of you, for being able to make that happen so that folks from far-flung parts of the state can come here, folks that are from small and medium-sized nonprofits can come and attend this symposium. It is critically important for them to be able to attend because from our standpoint, the magic happens at the hyper-local level. That's where people are really hyper-engaged. Thank you so much for being able to make that happen to each and every one of our sponsors. Our planning team does some amazing work. Is that not true? Yeah. Woo! Okay. Heidi and Amanda, you guys have done some amazing work. If you love every single thing that's happening here, really go up to them and thank them, Heidi and Amanda. Heidi and Amanda and every single one of the symposium team members that have supported this up here. If you love it, thank them. If you hate it, come and talk to me, because I'm probably the person who created the problem. Also, all the speakers that are here, we really appreciate you coming and sharing the knowledge. At its core, that's what this is about, networking and sharing best practices, right? So we appreciate that. And then, of course, all the exhibitors that are out talking about the good stuff. If we didn't have you, then it would just be this big empty space and kind of weird out there. So thank you for being here as well. All right, I am pleased to introduce to you Lieutenant Colonel Dana Allmond. She's going to come up and give a short welcome as well. Thank you very much.
Right on, I like that music. Okay, keep it going. I could bust a move up here. So this is so awesome. So I got to say hua. Hua, right on. So good morning, fellow public servants. So public servant leaders, doggone it. Thank you so much, Thomas. Our partnership is very important to my teammates at ADVS and to me. Over this past year, it has really exponentially gotten stronger and more robust. Can you believe that last year, just a year ago, it was the first time in so many years that we got back to in-person? You know, I was just grateful last year because the 2 years before that, I got in this space and it was all virtual. And so when I got up here last year, I was like, oh my God, I said, Thomas, and you're gonna have to do it again, man. You're gonna have to pull me off the stage. Right on. So I like to say usual suspects, so I see a lot of usual suspects. Please don't be offended if I can't remember your name, but I know I doggone know you. So I'm just excited. I'm fired up this morning, and we're going to have a great 2 days. When it comes to making and maintaining strong partnerships and protecting life, limb, health, and welfare of others, I have to see you in person. Human connection. We got all these numbers and stats and things, but I've got to doggone see you in person, because that feeling, you know, it's like no other. You look them straight in the eyeballs and you're like, doggone, we're going to get this done together. We communicate with each other to know if we really are all right. What do you need? What do your people need? Against all odds that we face to navigate in the world, we can and will absolutely thrive and serve for a lifetime. Each day that my Arizona Department of Veterans Services teammates are on the road all across the great state of Arizona, being with you, on the ground, learning from you, we strengthen those vital forces of professional relationships to best help veterans, military members, and their families in every aspect possible so we all can thrive and serve for a lifetime together. I don't know if this is a real word, but we're MacGyvering our way together. Yeah, right on. And I don't know if I was old enough to watch MacGyver, but you grew up hearing about something in MacGyver. So we're going to close those doggone gaps together, and I got to say this real fast. Warm handoffs. We grab the hands of those that we take care of them, and we put them into the hands of another public servant. So I've got couple of asks. I want you to take advantage of these 2 days so you can reconnect, meet new people, because we got folks from out of state. I got my counterparts from Washington State and Wyoming. I am just thrilled to pieces. So we're going to remain focused. We are not alone. We're in this together. Huh! Let's get after it together. Thank you. Right on. Can I do it?
All right, we're going to MacGyver it. MacGyver these glasses right back on my face. All right. Thank you, Dana. All right. Okay. So at last year's symposium, I spoke about the strength of our ecosystem of support. I spoke about how using the social determinants of health allows us a far more complete picture of a person and their pathway towards whole health. Would everybody say that that's fair? Yeah. Okay, so we're all in good agreement about that. I gave an example of how 13 organizations connected to support one veteran who wanted Christmas presents for his son. Does anybody remember that story by chance? Okay, wonderful, okay. The team had looked beyond kind of that initial request and eventually helped with transportation, legal, employment, a VA home loan, physical, mental health, finances, rental, negotiation, and probably a few things that we don't even know about, right? And so he got everything that he needed, and he actually got the one thing that he wanted, which was a very happy son on Christmas morning. That is the power of us working together. And I don't know any other way that that happens. That, as you know, happens thousands of times a year since Be Connected started in that hyper-complicated way. In fact, just yesterday, our amazing team member, Joy, wherever you are, Joy, okay, she shared a story of an urgent referral from a VA social worker who was referred to Be Connected by another VA social worker who had worked with us before. And she had a veteran who was in critical need of diapers, formula, and food for his family. This VA social worker referred the person and really wanted to see this person get that type of assistance. It really hit the heart, right? Our Be Connected team went into action, and I'm talking about Be Connected team, I'm talking about us, not us. Got the needs, got them delivered, relieving the stress on the family, and this little girl was very excited about her crackers. And I know you can't see the look in her eyes, but all of us have seen the look in a kiddo's eyes who has something that they really want. We know that look. It's there. So we know that these types of stories happen each and every day. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge everyone in this room and your colleagues across, our colleagues across the state. You see, there's always a lot of interest from our presenters, from our sponsors, from people who we're talking about Be Connected to, from people who are coming to speak about at the symposium, right? Who's the audience? Who are these people? So first, to you, please rise or raise your hand if you are not able, if you have ever served in the military. And down. If you have a family member, any family member who has served in the military, please rise if possible or raise that hand. And please sit. Yes, most of us have either served or we have a loved one who has served. That's the most basic part of who we are. Or we're that really, truly exceptional person who has neither, and we really love veterans. God knows why. And we're still serving those who serve, right? God bless you. But, yeah. Woo! Thank you, Maureen. But we thought it would be fun for us to get to know you all just a little bit more. So we asked some questions about who you are, and this is what we now know. We fought in battles in Vietnam, the first Gulf War, Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan. We watched those battles, and we wanted to join. We watched those battles and wanted to help those who fought. We were born in Mexico, emigrated to the United States, and joined the U.S. military. We were women service members who learned how to handle novel situations since we were very new to a particular unit, a station, a ship, or a field of service. We trained another nation's military, like the ROK Marines of South Korea or the Thai Air Force. We spent 6 years on an aircraft carrier. Then there were the things that we missed. We missed drive-in movies while on deployment. Jane. We missed our burgers, our pizza, using the phone whenever we want, and all manner of Americana. We missed our mothers. We missed our fathers. Sometimes missed our sisters. brothers, not so much. We missed boot camp. Okay, that was actually mine. I loved boot camp. I thought it was hilarious. You got these people yelling at you. It was a hoot. We missed the food and the cultures we visited. We missed Sundrop and Cheerwine. I threw that in. I have no idea what that means. Sodas. Thank you. Now I know. See, we're learning. Okay. Cheerwine. We missed food, Mexican food, German food, and food. There was a lot of entries around food. We missed the NFL. And one of my favorites, we missed seeing how similar people are all over the world. We were stationed in Jaji, Nigeria. We were stationed in Hawaii. By show of hands, who was in Hawaii? Hey, wow, that's awesome. An amazing, tropical, mythical paradise. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Unlike the lonely, desolate desert 29 Palms that I was in, you guys had macadamia nuts. Clearly the royalty of nuts. We didn't have any nuts. You had the ocean with surfing and coral reefs. We had Lake Bandini. You know what we did with our body of water? It was a sewage treatment disposal lake. They made us do our PFT around it, 3 miles. So we ran around it. Arr. We were stationed in Heidelberg, Germany. Once again. Okay. We were stationed in Mosul, Iraq. Okay, I'll give it to you, all right? Yeah. We were stationed in Qatar, Japan, the UK, Fort Huachuca, Luke Air Force Base, Davis Monthan, Romania, and the USS Mobile Bay. We were born to the Navajo Nation and proudly served in the United States military. We are people who have multiple generations of relatives who have served in the military. One person up to 6 generations. We built an organization in rural Arizona and named it in honor of a veteran named Jerry Ambrose. Hoorah. We were born in the nation of Colombia, moved to Texas as a child, and married an active duty service member. We dedicated our service to veterans, to the loss of our veteran family member. A lot of those, right? We were a childhood sweetheart of an Air Force combat controller and have been married 22.5 years through 10 deployments. We are a mother of a newly inducted Army National Guard member. We are a Vietnam-era nurses. We are corpsmen and medics. We provided aid and comfort to the wounded in the field. We are caretakers of our veteran spouses. We have so much more to give. This is who we are. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the longevity and diversity in times of service. If you are able, I would like to ask you to stand if you, in any capacity, supported or served military members, veterans and their families, either professionally or personally, for 25 years or more. 25 years or more. Stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing, please. 25 years or more. Look at these beautiful people. If you've been serving service members, veterans, and their families for 20 years or more, please stand and stay standing. "15 years or more. Stay standing, please. 10 years. 5 years. 1 year. If you happen to be in this room, please rise. No, seriously, if you happen to be in this room, please stand. And while you're standing, please turn to someone who you don't know, and if you would please greet them and share something about why you do what you do. Oh, yeah, Thomas has got a plan. We are going to have lots of just wonderful time to do that. Do not forget to keep introducing yourselves. Hi, Tom. To all sorts of people as you're interacting, over the course of the day when you're in the breakouts and eating lunches and things like that. Expand beyond your boundaries. There are amazing people strewn all throughout the breakouts or all throughout the symposium. So make sure you chitty chat with everyone. All right. So last year, we had a very nice recorded message from Dr. Erica Scavella, the VA's Assistant Undersecretary for Health for Clinical Services. This year, we have an Undersecretary in the house. So I want to thank the Phoenix VA Director Matthews and Deputy Executive Director Michael Welsh, who requested to have Undersecretary Clancy come to speak with us. We are very grateful. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Carolyn Clancy, Assistant Undersecretary for Health, Office of Discovery, Education, and Affiliate Networks. Dr. Clancy has served in a variety of positions across the VA and received numerous awards, including being selected as the 2015 Outstanding Federal Executive of the Year by the Disabled American Veterans. I liked that one. I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say this because I mean this. More importantly, she knows one of our Be Connected program founders, Dr. Maureen McCarthy, who just retired from the VA. So we quickly bonded over her awesomitude and her Irish soda bread, by the way, awesome. To me, anyone who is both brought in by the Phoenix VA to speak and who is friends with Maureen and loves Irish soda bread is good people. So please join me in welcoming Undersecretary Clancy. All right, awesome. All right, thank you very much. Another round of applause. Thank you. All right, now I would like to invite up our VA directors to join Dr. Clancy and me on stage. I know, I thought they were going to just leap up here like gazelles. All right, you can see their pictures up there, but I'm going to introduce them anyways. We have Brian Matthews, Director of Phoenix VA Healthcare System, Jennifer Gutowski, Director of the Southern Arizona VA Healthcare System, and Chris Norton, Director of Phoenix Regional Office, that's benefits, and Steve Sample, Director of the Northern VA Healthcare System. All right, thank you very much, and a round of applause for everybody. Thank you very much. All right. One of the benefits of my position is that I have the opportunity to meet some really amazing people. Let me restate that, some real and amazing people, because it's hard to always get a feel for folks unless you're actually sitting and chatting with them, right? Yeah, we get different pictures based on our relationships with them. So, for those of you who have been hanging out with us for a little while and participate in our Be Connected community networks and things like that, I think you've got a pretty good picture, but you know, it's nice to do things like this so you get an even better picture. So I have a video that I'm going to show, and I think it nicely demonstrates the concept of perseverance. And I think each of us can understand that in the work that we do, right? We have to have a sense of perseverance in the work that we do. So I am interested in your thoughts on perseverance in the work that you do, or if you have any observations in the veterans that you serve, and in the perseverance that you see in the strength of that in them as well. So let's roll the video. Enjoy. All right. Anybody think he wasn't going to make it? Yeah. Kind of feels like that, doesn't it? All right. Steve, I know you wanted to volunteer to go first. I'm a little afraid of this, but I'm going to go with
I
it.
can't believe you're afraid. A Marine.
I mean, I'm bravely entering into it.
Okay, good. So, you know, when I first saw this video, I think back, you know, I've been working with Thomas, 12 years or so. And Thomas likes to sing karaoke. I don't know if you realize that or not, but it reminded me of Chumbawamba, which is a group that was in the 1990s, I think the latter part of 1990s, and they had a song called Tub Thumping. So if you don't know what that is, you could Google it, or you could wait until the social hour. Maybe Thomas will sing it for us. But
It's possible.
you know, on a personal note, when I look at that, you know, I really think of tenacity and resilience. So, and I think everybody in their life has things that they wanted to do and weren't successful. And you're really not successful until you stop trying. So I think back to when I was in college. I went to the University of Arizona. Yes, bear down. And it was, I'll say back in 1984. I graduated, which was a long time ago. It doesn't seem like it, but looking at the audience, it feels older and older as I've gone through the years. But I wanted to go to pilot training. I was in ROTC there, and it was real competitive. The economy at the time, a lot of people were going in the military, and I didn't get selected. So I went to navigator school. But I thought, hey, this is great, but I really wanted to go to pilot training. Got to nav school, didn't like it. I thought I don't want to be a navigator. So I went to electronic warfare school, and then I was electronic warfare officer in B-52s. So I kept working and working and working, and then they had a program where you could apply to go to pilot training when you're on active duty, and eventually I went. So I went to Vance Air Force Base, and that was because I kept trying. So you kind of fall, but you keep going. So I think forward to, I had, and I think everybody has those ups and down moments in their career. And when I retired from the Air Force in 2007, I thought, oh, this is great. And then after about 2 weeks of being on terminal leave, I was bored stiff, and I still had a few months before I actually retired. So I thought I should find another job. I had no idea what I was going to do. And there was a job for a compliance officer in Tucson. Now, being a pilot and going to be a compliance officer is not such a stretch, but going to be a compliance officer at a hospital in the VA system is a stretch. So, but fortunately, I had worked for the Air Force IG, and I ran the Air Force IG's compliance inspection program, so I thought, what the hell, I'll apply. I applied and went, and that's how I got in, which was kind of surprising. But then I promised my wife we won't move anymore, that, I'll stay here. We've moved all over for the last 20-some years 23 years I was on active duty. We've been together now coming up on 40 years in May. So anyhow, and she's been through these up and down moments with me. So I applied for one of the leadership positions in Tucson, and I was going from compliance to the leadership role, which isn't a very common path, which I found out. And so I was a little pissed because I didn't get selected. So I left, and Dr. Clancy mentioned that at a point I worked for her when she was over quality, safety, and value. So I went to work for VACO. And then I went back to the facility and kind of found my path through leadership. So that's when when I look at that up and down, that's what I think of. That's a natural tendency, I think, for anybody. And when I look at our veterans now, we have a domiciliary. We have a 120-bed domiciliary right today. We had a census of 95 in there. And it's a great program for our veterans, but they're not always successful the first time. So we let them come back if they need to go multiple times. And it's having that hand, and that's a lot of what Be Connected does when I look at this program. So that's my thoughts on it. But we are looking forward to your karaoke edition later.
Yes. And I'll sing it multiple times until I get it right. Thank you. All right. Brian? All right. Awesome. Take it away.
So I just recently saw that video, and what I got out of it is it's a metaphor for life. You make forward movement, then you may fall down, but you keep going. You may take a couple of steps back, but you keep going. And eventually, you'll get to what your goal is. And I guess the story that I wanted to share was, and it's about some things that happened in my life. I was in the Air Force for 22 years. Yay. And I got married at my second assignment, which was Vance Air Force Base. And then immediately almost got assigned to Germany. So went to Germany, and my oldest son was born. Spent 3 years there. I came back to the States to Mather Air Force Base, and my second son was born. So about 7 years into my career, I ended up getting divorced. And the thing that shocked me and made me most happy is that I got custody of my boys. And so they were 5 and 1 at the time. And being in the military and now being a single parent, and as my mom would say, totally helpless for anything, it was really a challenge and very stressful. I had a lot of steps backwards. I fell down a lot. They survived. But I remember, and most of my challenges were in the kitchen. I ran out of dishwashing soap, and I decided I would use the dish soap, and I came back to the kitchen and it was full of suds. So I learned, you don't use dishwashing liquid. I thought I was keeping the kitchen clean, but my boys were running around, and one of them stopped on one of the mats and it slid over, and what was under the mat didn't match what was on the floor. So I learned about scrubbing floors on my hands and knees. And then cooking. Now, that's something that I had very rarely did. You know, if it wasn't done in the microwave, then, you know, I wasn't interested in it, or the mess hall. But Hamburger Helper became my best friend. And after some time, I decided I needed to step up my game, so I started trying different meals and got to a point where I feel like I'm a pretty good cook. But you know, the thing is that there weren't many single dads, and so, and I didn't have a relationship with the single moms, and so a lot of times I was struggling in the dark. And I didn't know about the resources that were available to me. Had I known, it would have probably made that transition a little bit easier. And so programs like Be Connected and what you all do is so important, because we have veterans that are struggling in the dark, and we need to do anything and everything to make sure that they know the resources that are out there and available to them.
By show of hands, who else has put the wrong detergent in dishwashers? Okay, you are not alone, my friend. We got your back. Yep. All right.
I guess I'm up. I want to start by saying that I had a very bureaucratic speech prepared to talk about resiliency and what it means in being a VA benefits office director, but I was having a conversation with Dr. McCarthy this morning, who through the course of our years of working together, I've learned very much to heed as a voice of wisdom. And she made a suggestion that I talk something a little bit more personal than what I do for a professional career. So in VA, we talk about, when I got into leadership especially, we talk about work-life balance and having as an outlet for those hours when we're not in the job, and finding ways to put away some of that stress level that arises. So for me, about 10, 11 years ago, when I was first named as a director in the Albuquerque regional office, I got very interested in powerlifting, and I wanted to get as big and as strong as I possibly could. I've never been a gym rat. Didn't really go to the gym at all until I was into my 40s. And I got to the point where I got very big, and I got stronger than I'd ever been in my entire life. And I was training with some of the strongest people in the country and in the world. And I was part of a clique, and it was amazing, and it was an awesome experience. Put my mind together to do something, and I did it. And then I got hurt. I developed this pain in my hip that wouldn't go away. And it was eventually diagnosed as arthritis, and I was told that I need a hip replacement. And I realized I tried to grit through it. I tried to ignore the pain and continue doing what I was doing, but it wasn't working. I was walking around in pain every single day. I was staying up at night from the throbbing, and it just hurt. And I realized that I was probably beat. I realized that I was probably as strong as I was going to get. And I was a bit lost. I lost my clique. I lost my friends. I just no longer fit in that community. I didn't know what I was going to do. So when I got here to Phoenix about 8 years ago, it was my former assistant, Sergio Chow, that some of you may remember, that suggested that I maybe try and get back into mountain biking. And I didn't realize when I moved to Phoenix just how good we have it here as far as our outdoor space and our trails for hiking and biking. And I'm very fortunate to live right at the base of Piestewa Peak, named after, of course, Lori Piestewa, the first Native American woman to give her life in combat. I've got trails right from my house, and I got into mountain biking, and I discovered a clique. I've got a group of old guys in my neighborhood that we ride with frequently. I was out with my buddy with the weather heating up. I was out at 5 o'clock this morning with my friend on the trails, and if you haven't had a chance to get out there and watch the sun come up from one of our parks, do so. It's absolutely phenomenal. So resiliency to me means really being open to change. What I needed was that outlet with that release. And I'm not as strong as I was back then, but I'm probably in better shape, and I will tell you that I'm much more happy. In my hip, you'll see me limping, but it doesn't hurt that much. And my pain level's down to a 1 or a 2, which I can deal with. But the endorphins, the feelings I get, having that community back, being able to watch things going, being able to step out of work and put that behind me and find a release that allows me to be a whole person and not just who I am in the course of my career. It's been an incredibly rewarding experience, and I'm so much stronger for being able to pivot like that.
That's awesome. Do we need a break from the work we do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. Jennifer.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. I don't know about you, but I kind of want to do that. That was really cool how he just...
Doesn't that look
It
fun?
kind of looks fun, but thanks for the opportunity to share a little bit. When I was watching that video and then thinking about the work that we do, I thought about my parents. Some of you may know, I share a little bit about my dad. He's a Vietnam veteran. He served as a Navy corpsman, but what you maybe don't know is I'm an only child, and my mom passed away in 2015, and my dad was kind of left on his own. He was living in New Jersey, and I lived at the time in Arizona. And he had a little bit of a rough time after my mom passed, as did I, because I'm going to try to hold myself together as I talk about it. The interesting thing was I learned after my mom's passing that my dad had a lot of challenges with PTSD and other things, and never, this is mind-blowing, he worked for the VA and never got any benefits or services or found out what he was eligible for. They tried, but he couldn't figure out. My mom didn't want to drive to New York City and blah, 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 all these reasons that were barriers for them to get the services. And so when my dad was out visiting me in Arizona at the time, thanks to Chris and his team and the Tucson VA, my dad now gets the services that he earned and deserved. And I share this story for a number of reasons because I believe it's never too late for people to find out what benefits they've earned. I credit the VA to saving his life, both medically and mentally. He had a triple bypass when he was out visiting me in Hawaii, and thanks to the tripler in the VA out there, he just turned 81 years old, and he participates in gold. Yeah, it's awesome. If it wasn't for the whole health programs and the care that the VA provided there in rehabilitating him, and then certainly the family aspect as well, you know, being an only daughter, after that triple bypass, I looked at him and said, you're not moving back to New Jersey. And I'm lucky that my other half, my partner, Jim, I looked at him, I said, and he's moving in with us. And it was no-brainer. I mean, Jim's Air Force veteran, retired law enforcement. He's absolutely. And he's been living with Jim and I ever since. And it makes me think about, you know, when you see that person falling, sometimes he was falling, he missed that special hash, you know, that little plus sign, because he had support, but not exactly the right support. And so it wasn't until it all came together that, you know, I was working for the VA, I could help my dad, get him the services that he needed. I had work that supported me to take the time off to help my family during all this time. I mean, it was once we hit that hashtag that we were able to make it all come together. So I just feel so honored with the work that we do, and it's really personal to me, and I think it shows resilience. So I tell people all the time, keep learning what the VA is offering. Laws change, and we're always here for folks. And so again, as we do this together, it takes a village. So thank you.
So I love that video, partly because it reminds me of my next door neighbor who's now a high school junior, except she doesn't just hit the trampoline. You know, she does these double and triple flips, and it's awesome. I just can't believe that on some level we share the same, you know, basic body, right? But not really. I mean, I couldn't even imagine doing this once. You know, not falling off the trampoline would be great. But we had a big leadership meeting here last June here in Phoenix, and you know, we're talking about business and how we have to do things better, and you know, a little bit of inspiration, a lot of bit of like, not really pull up your socks, but kind of pull up your socks. And one of our directors gets up and just wants to salute some of her teammates, and this story just got to me. So the story was she'd gotten a call, and Maureen and Jennifer can correct me if I got this wrong, or Brian, from a commandant at a local military facility. They wanted to discharge their patient, but he needed to go home. but his wife was a veteran, was in pretty dire straits. As I'm recalling, mental health and substance issues, as well as some medical issues. So, of course, our director says, yes, yes, we'll reach out and help out here. So they call, and it's like, get out of here. Do not contact me again. Get out of my face. I want nothing to do with you people. And her social work team absolutely refused to give up. Every day for like 2 weeks or more, calling just to check in, you know, building some trust. And finally, this woman said, yeah, I'll come in and talk to you. And, you know, fast forward, it had a real happy ending. But if you think about it, that's sort of resilience on two levels, right? It's our people, our colleagues, who I admire so much, refusing to give up. And it's this veteran who probably felt like she had given up long ago, but here's somebody throwing that lifeline again and again, and she finally reached out and grabbed it. And, you know, this was a bit of a non sequitur when this director stood up, but thank God she did it, right? Because immediately the whole room is reconnected to what we're about, what we're doing. So that's what I got out of this video. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. All right, round of applause. Thank you very much. All right, we're doing the gazelle thing. That's fantastic. So I just, you know, I want to say thank you to the directors and the undersecretary for participating in this way, because this would not, could not, now I sound like Dr. Seuss, have happened. This would not, could not have happened, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago. It just would not have happened. And so I appreciate you all for, one, trusting me, us, to disclose, talk in that way. And so, you know, it's a different thing to talk about yourself as opposed to talk about the VA. And I think that's just incredibly commendable. It's getting us to know you, and I think that changes the way we dialogue with each other when there's good times and when there's tough times. Thank you. Okay, I would like to invite up Dr. Lori Highberger. We are cruising, not for a bruising, but Dr. Lori Highberger has been amazing. She's been a collaborator with us for a long time. We've known her since she was working with the VISN at the VA, and she is now working with TriWest Healthcare Alliance, who is one of our sponsors for this, but has also been a longtime partner, both with the coalition and certainly with Be Connected since the very beginning. So, Dr. Lori Highberger, the floor is yours.
So, like Thomas, I need glasses. Unlike Thomas, I'm old enough I forgot my glasses. So I'm going to do the best I can with the points I have here, so please forgive me if you hear me stumbling just a little bit. But thank you, Thomas and Nicola. It has been a long time, but it's been a pleasant run, yes. And I'm always grateful to be associated in any way with ACMF. It is truly something I'm very proud of, as is my colleague, Dr. Blake Chafee, who also has been participating for a long time with the group. So thank you, and thank you to the ACMF, and thank you for hosting this the 14th year in a row. It's just outstanding. Again, I'm Dr. Lori Highberger. I am TriWest's Chief Medical Officer for Behavioral Health. And on behalf of our CEO, Dave McIntyre, our leadership team, our employees, we thank you all for coming together here today. And again, supporting the ACMF in all the good work that we do for Arizona's military, their veteran community, which includes all the caregivers that are serving our military families and our veteran population. TriWest Healthcare Alliance has been a proud longtime sponsor of ACMF and this symposium. As we recognize the importance of bringing together the military, the government, the business, the community, it takes that whole village to do this work. And without that, it would not be the success that you see today. That video, what it meant to me was that the ACMF and the staff that you have are like the springs on that trampoline. It's that softer landing, that little bit of support, that reassurance. I can tell you how many times, and I've had some rough ones along the way, you fall. And some of us are a little too stubborn to take help. And we want to go back to the first step, and we'll just walk right back up. It takes trust to start to embrace that spring and really let it support you and take you up to the top. So that was a beautiful representation to me of what we all strive to do in this space. As some of you may be aware, TriWest's sole focus since 1996 has been the military community. That includes the active duty members, their family members and dependents, the veteran community as those active duty transition. It's a passion for our company as it's a passion for you. We spent 17 years in the past as Department of Defense TRICARE contractor. We were building a network of primary and specialty and behavioral health providers and supporting that TRICARE eligible population. For the last 10 years, though, TriWest has been providing VA and our nation's veterans with a similar support, standing aside VA and helping to enhance and provide that elasticity into the community that our veterans have earned and that they deserve. We have 14 Western states, 3 U.S. territories. You can see it on our map here. It's a good swath of the country here going out into the Pacific as far as the Northern Mariana Islands. So it's something that we really are very proud to be trusted with this many of our veterans and active duty members' lives. But certainly being located here in Phoenix, it's close to our heart. Since TriWest had started its work alongside the VA, our network has delivered over 64 million, I'm going to say that again, 64 million healthcare encounters in the community. And that's to our nation's finest. Nearly 5 million of those have happened in Arizona. So that's huge. Very, very happy to have the partnership of all the community providers and supports that are out there for our veterans. We're already in the process of trying to return back to the side of DoD as the new TRICARE West region contractor. This will be effective in January, so before anybody comes up to any of us, we are not active until January 1 of 2025. We are building right now, but very pleased to do so. We will have the 26 states that you can see above, so it's very similar to our current map, a little bit of an extension. You can see along the Mississippi kind of area there, but again, going out into the Pacific. It's truly a detailed and very challenging transition to stand up TRICARE at this time alongside with our VA work, but we are so honored to be trusted by the government, by our veterans and active duty and their family to do so. So we know we have our heart in the right place. It's always about getting to yes for us, and so we're happy that at least in these regions, that's going to be the experience for those who have served. In closing, it's truly our company's privilege to help veterans and those who care for them as well. In the work that we do each day, we're grateful to have the partners like the ACMF, and we share the same mindset as you all do. I hope that if anything comes across, it's that for TriWest at least, we're not a bureaucratic entity. We are not an insurance company like you would normally think of one. We really do have a mission. That mission is always about that active duty member, those people supporting them and the veterans, and that is our work. That is our only work, and that is all we will do. Thanks again to Thomas and Nicola, the entire team of ACMF, and the planning committee. My gosh, you guys do a great job. I know it's huge, and it's just wonderful. Every year it comes together and it just comes off flawlessly. Thank you all for being here, because that is the connection. That is how we build these things. That's the springs that we need to support the people who need us. Thank you for showing your support. And I hope that you have very valuable discussions in the next couple days. Don't let that one encounter of meeting somebody new be the only one that you have while you're here. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lori. Well, good morning, and thank you for being here. I'm Nicola Winkel, Project Director for the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. And by being here and being a part of this community, you are a part of our collective impact initiative, and I thank you. This is a haystack. It's an image we sometimes use to illustrate the enormity of the challenge before us. On the days this work feels hard or futile or impossible, and can be helpful to put into context what we are trying to do. Imagine this haystack has 500,000 pieces. We want the best for each and every one. What we know is that over the course of the coming year, approximately 220 to 250 of these pieces will turn red, representing veteran lives lost to suicide. But we don't know exactly which ones or when. Additionally, on top of those lost, approximately 8,000 will have serious suicidal behaviors or attempts, and another 53,000 will report thoughts of suicide. And it reminds you that the reason that some days this work feels so challenging is because it is. Now, in this field of work, we have learned a lot. Through research and experience, there are some things we better understand. We know some about which of these pieces has a higher likelihood of turning orange or red. We know that those leaving hospitalization have a 100 times or more increased risk of dying by suicide. We know that disability can be a predictor of suicide. We know that simple, caring contacts, messages sent by a provider post-care, can reduce risk. We also know that increasing social connection can reduce risk. What we've been doing, what we're constantly doing as a collective of helpers, organizations, communities, and systems is taking all this knowledge and working to put it into action so we can better help those who need it when they need it. But this is not a purely scientific endeavor. For many of us, it is extremely personal. Our 2023 Arizona Veteran Survey revealed that 61% of veteran respondents know of at least one person who has died by suicide. For service members, it was 74%. And for family members, it was 59%. This is extremely personal. So the question is, how do you move forward when the mission is so very daunting, finding those literal needles in a huge and complex haystack? Academy and Grammy Award-winning musician Jon Batiste describes the creative process of writing an original symphony, a huge and complex undertaking. He says, you have to confront the brutal facts of the reality that you might not pull it off, but at the same time, have unwavering faith, completely unwavering faith, and you have to do both at the same time. He was talking about the creative process of composing, but this duality can apply to many other high-stakes activities. A doctor posted how this same concept, understanding you might not pull it off, and having complete unwavering faith that you can, at the same time, applies to being an effective surgeon. And I believe it definitely applies to our collective work. We have to accept that we might fail, Or it would be absolutely crippling from the start to think we have to get it 100% right with no room for adapting. That's just not a healthy state or realistic mindset. So we need to believe that we can do it, accept we will not be perfect, and be prepared to adapt, adjust, and evolve along the way. I believe that's the only way that we can do this work sustainably over time. So how do we hold ourselves to a high standard when the stakes are so very high and be constructive? In the television adaptation of Isaac Asimov's seminal science fiction trilogy, Foundation, focused on the planned rebuilding of civilization after an impending dark age, the main character, Gale, makes the observation that it takes more energy to build than to burn. It takes more energy to build than to burn. And it behooves us to ask ourselves, at any one time, is what I'm doing contributing energy to building or to burning? It applies to the actions of our organizations and systems, but it also applies to our own individual mindsets. Because we can strive for improvement, we can expect more from our systems, organizations, and services, and hold them accountable without burning them to the ground. We can help each other grow without burning each other. The other thing about building is it takes so much energy that we need to use momentum to our advantage. Instead of starting over again and again, we can take each bit of progress and push ourselves to the next level. In the end, we get much farther that way. So how do we do this seemingly impossible task?
Arizona is home to 500,000 service members, veterans, and their families. At any one time, some are thriving, while others might be struggling. Strengthening support for this many people with this many needs is a complex challenge that requires a multi-layered and multifaceted approach. Through our Be Connected ecosystem of support, we connect people, helpers, organizations, communities, and systems to strengthen support for all who serve and their families. We connect service members, veterans, and their families, no matter the life situation, area of need, or interest. We connect community helpers to information, training, opportunities to serve, and dedicated ongoing support. We connect public and private sector organizations to provide the best care and support possible. We connect communities statewide with collaboration and coordination. And we connect the systems that serve our community. Join us as we build support for all who serve.
I could share hundreds of examples of projects, programs, and resources across dozens of organizations all over Arizona that are focused on these domains. Today, I want to share a few that represent the forward-leaning efforts to build, always build. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, social isolation is an epidemic directly related to numerous physical and mental health issues and is significantly associated with suicidal ideation and attempts. To help service members, veterans, and their families to be more connected, we are partnered with the Arizona Department of Veteran Services and the first VA-funded community-based suicide prevention grant program.
Did you know that 60% of Americans feel lonely? The good news is that Arizona's Coaching into Connection program is here to support service members, veterans, and family members who want to feel more connected. Our connection coaches have a first-hand understanding of military life and stand ready to craft personalized plans based on your unique interests. Connection coaches help clients get connected to social support activities like gyms, cooking classes, outdoor recreation, art classes, and more. It could be something you once enjoyed or something new. One coach was working separately with a World War II and a Korean War veteran, each looking for camaraderie, so he introduced them. Another coach helped a veteran who had given up, feeling tired of the struggle. he was connected to volunteer at a local food bank. Now he helps other veterans get access to food, and he feels himself coming alive again. Services are provided statewide at no cost, and a stipend for connection plans may be available to help with the cost of activities. Interested in coaching into connection for you or someone you know? Contact Be Connected today.
Another example of upstream efforts is our cross-cutting prevention project with the Arizona State University College of Health Solutions. This multi-year Department of Defense funded grant is focused on developing grassroots prevention model that works across all areas: suicide, substance use, sexual assault, and more. And we're working with 4 military project sites to develop and test this model for DoD. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. We've also made advances in better understanding veteran deaths by suicide in Arizona to inform our prevention efforts. Earlier this year, we launched the first in the nation veteran suicide mortality review team with the Arizona Department of Health Services. We do this work to remember and honor the lives of those lost by trying to do better for those that are still with us.
Nationally and within Arizona, there has been a persistent disparity in the rate of suicide among veterans compared to the general population. Reducing this disparity requires multifaceted solutions that focus both upstream and downstream. As part of this effort, Arizona established a veteran suicide mortality review team, the first of its kind in the nation. The team's mission is critical: closely examine cases of veteran deaths by suicide to better understand the contributing factors and identify prevention recommendations. These recommendations will be used to strengthen how we extend support where it is needed through our Be Connected risk reduction strategy. Through this process, we remember the lives of those lost, honor their memory by learning what we can do to best support others, and guide our collective efforts in strengthening care and support for all service members, veterans, and their families.
We're also advancing our collective efforts around postvention and the support provided to individuals, families, organizations, and communities after a loss. Last year, the VSO community here in Arizona experienced some devastating losses. Be Connected, the VA and crisis teams responded, and it was clear how great the need is to extend this support in a coordinated, rapid, and sustained way. Being in proximity to someone who has died by suicide puts a person at greatest risk themselves, so postvention is a vital part of our prevention efforts. And over the past year, a multi-sector, multidisciplinary work group has been developing an internal protocol for how our organizations work together on postvention response, and a community guide to postvention, which will be released this year. These are just a handful of the building blocks we have collectively put in place this past year. So how do we keep going and keep building? Katherine Johnson, the brilliant American mathematician who calculated and analyzed flight paths for NASA spacecraft for 3 decades, said this: "Everything was so new. The whole idea of going into space was new and daring. There were no textbooks, so we had to write them." When we started this work in 2009, there was no playbook. The term collective impact had not even been coined yet. The ACMF logo says, "Building support for all who serve." We created that tagline way back in 2009, and I think it's because we knew that we would always be building. We would never get to a point where we would be able to say, we are done. 15 years in, every day we learn, every day we stretch ourselves, every day we discover new paths to accomplish our collective mission. Being together on days like today is important. There's a special kind of energy generated when we gather with purpose. This gathering is one of our favorites because it always generates that energy. Hundreds of us coming together and saying, we don't accept that what currently is has to be the way it is. We have more to learn, more to do, more people to connect to, more to change and build upon. Every day you may make progress. Every step may be fruitful. Yet there will stretch out before you an ever-lengthening, ever-ascending, ever-improving path. You know you will never get to the end of the journey, but this, so far from discouraging, only adds to the joy and glory of the climb. None of us are in this for the glory. We're here because we care and truly believe we can make a difference. So keep faith, focus every day on what we can collectively build when we work together. Take care of yourselves and each other, and always remember that what we do together is greater than anything any one of us can do alone. Thank you.
All right, we have a few more things and then we're going to close you out. You have plenty of time. I do want to say that there's two really cool things that will get someone to love and marry, and that is when a spouse quotes Winston Churchill and tells you that they love the movie Aliens and will watch it with you. Nicola Winkel, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I did want to give you kind of a preview for tomorrow. I'm going to make this real quick. We have the governor coming tomorrow. She's going to be speaking to us bright and early in the morning. Really looking forward to hearing what she has to say, because she's going to be giving a review of the various things that she's doing and plans to do for veterans in the state tomorrow. The next thing is that we have a visitor from the White House. She is with the Joining Forces Initiative. She's the executive director. She has a message from FLOTUS, that's the First Lady of the United States, to the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, talking to you about what we've been doing. We have General Rushoff and Colonel Ives. That's Luke Air Force Base. Say hoorah, Luke, or what does the Air Force say? Whoosh? What do you guys say? Zoom? Zoom. Zoom! I don't know. And hua for the Army folks. Aim high. Aim high. That's right, yeah. Aim high. Okay. I love the Air Force. You're all awesome. Anyways, we've got General Rushoff and we've got Colonel Ives from Fort Huachuca, who are going to be having a fireside chat. It's going to be amazing. Really looking forward to that. And they're going to actually be talking about the dangers and the things that are going on in the world and why we need to be ready to support our service members as a community, as an ecosystem of support, what we need to be doing and why we need to be doing it. I'm telling you, it's amazing stuff. Be here, please. So now I'm going to turn it over to Dee Person, Assistant Director with the Coalition, to wrap things up. One little piece on Dee Person. When she got out of the service, she had a company that did yoga for the workplace with like Fortune 500 companies. And I got to tell you, it's absolutely the reason why we hired her, because she'll bend over backwards for service members, veterans, and their families. That's the last one for the day. Enjoy it.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am a proud Navy combat veteran, married to a Marine veteran. And my latest label I wanted to share is my daughter will be joining Navy ROTC, so I'm going to be a mom of a military member here soon. So I feel very confident this space in the room that she will be taken care of. We do have some housekeeping. Just for your information, your event guide, everyone has one in their registration bag. And with that is a map. One of the things we learned from last year is once you get past Ocotillo, everything is alphabetical order for the rooms. So a little trick to remember when you're not sure where to go. So yes, thank you for displaying that. We also want to let you know that all of our staff members have a blue banner on their badges that says staff. So if you need help, reach out and ask for help. We are here to assist you. Also, some of the big things we want to share are there are 6 tracks each day. We have 3 breakout sessions. The schedules and locations are in your event guide that I just showed you. We'll be having lunch in the ballroom or in the dining hall. So you can, at lunchtime, bring your lunch in here if there's seating issues, plenty of room in here. We'll also have lots of snacks today. They'll be out through the day, so help yourself to those in the dining area and in the back hallway. Our exhibitor guide will tell you where you want to see. We do have our bingo card. I know many of you received that. Everyone should have received that when they checked in. They'll be checking you off. It looks like the stamps weren't working so well this morning, so get all of your stamps. Every 10 stamps will get you 1 raffle ticket, and then we'll get to call those out on Thursday. Our event evaluations. Some people did receive them in their packet. We did run out of some, but there's also QR codes. So if you're a handwriter and like to write down your comments, ask a neighbor if you don't have one in your bag, and if not, the QR code is available for you. If you need the CEUs for your profession, be sure to sign into each session. That's key. You'll also get a little reminder of how to complete the form so you can get your certificate. One of the things I want to make sure, again, is that everyone knows we will be having a raffle session today during our social, but the big raffle is tomorrow. So if you'd like to stay for that, that is going to be Thursday evening. And no complaints on parking, so thank you for following the directions. Usually I get a couple of vehicles I have to call out and have you go remove their. Want to also thank our generous sponsors. We want to also say, in the back, just in case you didn't know, last year we had Dress for Success. So in the back hallway, if you're looking to see our, the Dress Success has a mobile career, and they have clothing for our females. They do now have a male boutique, not here today, they don't have a mobile version, but to learn more about that, where you can get professional attire, please go check out Dress for Success. We also do have complimentary massages to our right, outside the door, outside of that doorway, Medi Massage. And Ability 360 has some adaptive equipment that will be set up outside too. So with all that being said, I know we cut into some of your break, but you still have 15 minutes. Go grab some snacks, and your session will start at 11. Remember, you have to check in tomorrow again for registration. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.